Hey everybody, Rice here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Duino.app and see how it's useful for you in exploring the Arduino side quests. And this, I'm doing it on a Chromebook, so you can notice that it looks a lot like your interface, and that way you can see exactly what it should look like on a Chromebook. Also, this is one of those odd times where Chromebooks are actually preferable to those of you who bring a Mac or a Windows PC, just because Linux, which is what Chrome is built on, has all the necessary drivers for the USB stuff that we're going to do. So, in any case, here we are in Duino.app. You can see the URL up here. This is a website that's hosted somewhere else, but we'll look into some of the details in a bit. So, in any case, we're just saying that yes, we got it, we don't need that, but it's nice that it's version 3. I think that this was mostly written by one human. If you wanted to go and learn more, you can look into the about. This project has lived on for a few different years, but we're going to head back over here and click on the code. Now this is where, these are the main controls. These are the different big sections of Duino. Used to be called Chrome Duino. But these are the big sections of Duino.app. And you can just create a new project by clicking on the code section and then create new project over here. Now, this is my first one, so I'm going to say hello world as my project name, and I'll say my first project and hit create. Cool. So this has made, now we're looking at sort of the normal interface of Duino.app. And so let me show you these things.
Please post your attendance in TAC at this time.
Yep.
Thank you.
Maybe you heard that announcement. They're working on things for the building. And here we've got the main core of the Arduino interaction that we're going to do. So let me zoom in just a touch so we can see this better. On this interface over here, you can see these are all the files in my project. If you get way more advanced at Arduino, you might have multiple files. Don't worry about it for right now. The only thing I would recommend to a beginner might be if you wanted to add a markdown file. This is where you just write a README. And so you could write a README file and add that. This is just a chance to say more about my project. So you can say hello world. That's really not necessary though. Okay, so the markdown is just an explainer. It's documentation if you need it. This over here, this is where our actual code is happening. And so let's break this down a little bit before we get into other details. Arduino needs two functions. So it always has to have a void setup function and a void loop function. And that's just because we're in the Arduino environment. These are physical things, and so they need a setup and they need something to do forever after that. It's neat because Arduinos can run that code without being attached to a computer. If you just have them physically attached to power, they'll work, which is awesome. That's why they're very useful, and we can explore that more later. For now, we're just focused on the code. So let's pick through these functions and see what's going on. Void is the return type. These functions don't return anything. That's fine. Don't need to worry about that for now. This is a curly bracket language, and so if you're used to Python, you'd notice that they do colons here, and then annotation is important. These curly brackets are what's important for Arduino, which is really C++. And so if we pick through what's going on in this setup function, we'll take a look at each of the lines. This first line, you'll see, is a pin mode function, and it's taking the built-in LED of our board, probably on pin 13, and putting it into an output mode. That's important so that the LED can blink on and off. The other mode is input or input pull-up, and that's not what we're using. Then the second function is serial begin. This starts communication from the Arduino to the computer. So the Arduino will be able to tell the computer what's going on, and it will be helpful for us to get that feedback. And so that's all it does in the setup. Just two things. It's getting itself ready, and then most of the action happens in the loop. And that's commonly true for real projects. If you're working through the series of side quests, we do most of our work in the setup because we just want it to run once. So what's going on in this loop? First up, we have a digital write, and so this is where it actually sets the pin to some setting. So it's going to set the built-in LED, pin 13, high, and that high is equivalent to true or on or a digital 1. This just means it's going to turn the LED on. And then this line is the Arduino telling the computer that it's on. So I'm going to actually just simplify it and write on there. The next line is a delay. So it's going to stay in that state of just being on for a whole second, 1,000 milliseconds. And then after that, it's going to turn the built-in LED low or off, and I'm going to make this off. I'll add a few flags so it's easier to differentiate. And then it delays for another second. So it stays off for a second because this is going to loop, and then it goes after line 15, back up to line 10 where it turns back on. If you didn't have a delay down here at the bottom, you'd never see it be off because it would be off for just a fraction of a second. But now it's a whole second off. Okay, cool. So that's our code, and that's pretty much all that we need to do. We didn't even need this README file. I could have not included that. But we are ready to go. Let's look at some of the rest of this interface just to see what's going on. So up over here, these are where I would work with things. I can check and compile my code. You can see here, it sends my code off to a server. It does the compiling, and then it gets back to me this info. So it's a very small program, doesn't use a whole lot. And Arduinos are really a great chance to explore computing when you have very strict size constraints. Our Python programming that we do in APCSP, there's more than enough memory in your computer for all of it, so it doesn't matter. Also, it sent it to this server, this compile server, and the compile servers are hosted somewhere, and it looks like this one's hosted in the United States. If I click on it, I might even get more info. It's in Iowa, that particular server. So in Iowa is where the code is going to be compiled. It's a neat feature of cloud computing. And so down over here, these are all of the like device controls. And so I'm going to actually physically plug in my Arduino now, and we'll play around with some of those device controls. Okay, so the Arduino is plugged in. It didn't make a noise, but that's fine. I'm going to go into select device, and you're going to see that I have a list here. Oh, I'm going to unplug it. And if I go to select device, you can see that I'm missing one of these things. And then if I plug it back in and go to select device, you can see there it is. Now this is where Chrome OS and Linux shines. It just works. So I've got this thing selected. That's going to be my USB device. That's the Arduino that I'm playing with. I'm going to hit connect. And so it's selected. You can see it's got a little USB logo. And then I need to choose the type of Arduino that is my compilation target. So I'm going to choose this. And now I need to select my board. And they do have a lot of different types of Arduino on here and some other boards, but they don't have everything. But if you're in my room doing this, you're using an Arduino Nano. And very likely the default processor. There's a couple of other options if it's not working. But just do Arduino Nano, and you can hit enter or hop back over to your code, and it should be ready to go. So now I've got this thing all set up, and there's my code. It's ready to go. I've got my Arduino Nano selected. My serial port is selected. And now it's time to look at these three controls up here. This is the compile, and it just checks to see that it compiles, so I can do that. This one is compile and upload. So this is going to compile the program using that server we talked about, and then it will upload it to the Arduino itself. And then the serial monitor is where I can see if the Arduino has got anything there for me. You can see these buttons also pop up over here. There's some tabs. The interface is helpful and a little weird, but I'm going to hit compile and upload now. As long as everything's connected, it should work. So compiling the code, uploading it to the Arduino, and I can check some LEDs, and it looks like it's done. So here's a little feedback. I get this from my console. But if I go to monitor, you can see right now it is blinking on and off. And if I had a camera that was working, I could physically show you. But it's blinking the Arduino on and off. Every one of those takes a second. So what we've done here is taken code that was written on our Chromebook. We had it compiled by a remote server in Iowa that sent back the bytecode to us, and then we uploaded it through the browser to the Arduino that's attached to our computer. And then it's running this program. It's blinking its LED, and it's telling the computer what's going on. So the Arduino is sending messages back to my Chromebook telling me that it's on and off and on and off, and it's giving me more info about what's happening. I'm going to reset the size here, close this tab, see if we can get the serial monitor to play. It's weird that it's that small, but whatever. It's working, and this is great. It's doing a lot of fun things, and it seems like we're all good. The only last note I would have is if you may need to check your baud rate. That's like the wavelength of the messages the Arduino sends to the computer. This is the one that often it defaults to. 9600 is also a really common one. If it's the wrong one, you'll see it'll get glitched messages down here. So make sure that you're on the same number that's in your code, which for me was the 11520. So if I do that, I should get back to my on and off messages. They're still coming in, but it's a little tricky. Okay, so that was kind of long-winded, and for that I apologize, but this is the basics of how you would go about doing the Arduino side quests on your Chromebook, which I think can actually be a lot of fun. If you master how to code on Arduino, the next step is to figure out how to put physical hardware with it, and then you can start building robots, which is a lot of fun. Okay, all right, that's it everybody, and have a good day. See ya.